Key points: learning complexity and patience, decline, effort and repetition. Real learning isn't just acquiring facts, but building comprehension and ability to apply concepts. This process requires repeated exposure to material, application in varied contexts, and mistakes as part of learning. Decreasing patience for ambiguity. Modern students, influenced by digital immediacy, lack patience with complex learning processes. There's less tolerance for ambiguity or time consuming study, preferring quick, often superficial understanding. Impact of instant answer culture. Influence of technology. Access to information through Google and AI tools like ChatGPT provides rapid responses, but they limit the development of critical thinking. This shift means students increasingly rely on prepackaged information, often mistaking data for true understanding. Changing perception of knowledge. The expectation that answers are instant promotes viewing facts as knowledge, sidestepping the depth and personal insights that come from engaging fully with learning material. Current education systems limitations. Heavy syllabus focus. Schools in Pakistan burden students with numerous subjects and extensive content in each. Teachers often focus on covering the syllabus quickly rather than ensuring students have deeply understood or internalized the material. Rote learning emphasis. The structure prioritizes completing lessons and preparing students for exams, which reinforces rote memorization. This approach leaves little room for the student's creative or analytical skills to flourish. Examinations and testing issues. Recall versus reflection. Testing methods mainly assess students' memory rather than their ability to critically engage with or apply knowledge. This teaching to the test prioritizes correct answers and stifles original thinking. Lack of development for personal insights. There's minimal encouragement for students to form or express personal insights. This approach contrasts sharply with systems that nurture reflective, analytical, and individual thought processes. Personal experience and importance of critical thinking. Learning transformation abroad. The author's time in England underscored the importance of forming and expressing personal views rather than merely recounting established knowledge. An early essay feedback highlighted the value of original thought, pushing the author to rethink his approach to study and argumentation. Need for wise teachers. For students to engage critically and reflectively, the education system needs insightful educators who guide students beyond reproducing facts and toward thoughtful analysis and personal viewpoints. Technology's role in shaping learning habits, screen time and instant access. Children today are heavily influenced by screen culture and fast access to information, which discourages the slow, patient engagement required to internalize learning. Balancing speed with depth. Modern students need to find a balance between rapid digital solutions and the slower, more nuanced process of genuine understanding, a challenge for educators, parents, and policymakers alike. Crux. In an age dominated by instant information, true learning and understanding require deliberate effort, patience, and tolerance for ambiguity. Pakistan's education system and societal reliance on digital solutions need to adapt to foster critical thinking and resilience in students, preparing them for deeper reflective knowledge beyond the ease of instant answers. Key points: disconnect from Pakistan, nostalgia versus reality. The author, living abroad, saw Pakistan more as a memory rather than a present reality, until prompted by family and a personal desire to reconnect with their homeland. Mainstream media's sensationalism, political drama and bias. Attempting to reconnect through traditional media revealed a landscape filled with political sensationalism, biased narratives, and attention-seeking anchors. Self-styled senior analysts dominate the media, focusing more on polarization than on informative discourse. Social media's toxic environment, fake news and extremism. Turning to social media to find a more authentic view of Pakistan revealed an equally divisive environment. The author encountered rampant fake news, abusive interactions, and echo chambers dominated by political fanatics and keyboard warriors. Devoted followers. A subset of users idolizes political figures, with timelines full of fan-made content. This trend reflects a troubling idolization culture, with political leaders presented in theatrical, almost worshipful ways. The impact on Pakistani youth, manipulation by digital leaders. The author perceives Pakistan's youth, who are tech-savvy and eager for change, as being manipulated into online battles, functioning as keyboard warriors in a digital power play orchestrated by political forces. Consequences of digital wars. These online skirmishes have fostered division, aggression, and a lack of critical thinking among the youth. This manipulation fuels a cycle of conflict that benefits political agendas but harms social unity and constructive dialogue. Lost potential in digital tools, missed opportunities for innovation. The author laments that the technological tools Pakistani youth wield are not being used to create, but to destruct. They draw a parallel to global tech icons who transformed industries with limited resources, contrasting it with the vast untapped potential of Pakistan's young population. The digital oil field. The author describes the internet as a digital oil field and underscores the transformative potential within Pakistani youth who are technologically equipped yet lacking direction. The urgent need for purpose and guidance. Talent without direction. Pakistani youth have the creativity and drive seen in world-changing innovators, but they are misled by digital influencers into unproductive, antagonistic online behavior. Without positive guidance, this potential is lost to digital conflict rather than constructive development. Call to action, channeling youth potential. The author urges for a national shift to channel youth energy from divisive social media battles to innovation, emphasizing that the next tech revolution or paradigm shift could come from Pakistan if the youth's focus is redirected. Crux. Pakistan's youth have the tools and potential to lead innovation, but digital platforms are being misused for divisive battles that stifle their creativity and potential. The current environment of political fanaticism, manipulation, and social media toxicity must give way to constructive engagement to unlock Pakistan's true digital oil field and transform its future. Key points. Pakistan's natural endowments, geographical richness. Pakistan is blessed with diverse landscapes, a range of seasons, abundant sunlight, fertile land, and rich water resources, including a well-established canal system. Underutilized potential. Despite these natural blessings, the nation struggles to leverage them effectively, leading to economic struggles, currency devaluation, and dependency on international bailouts. National apathy and mismanagement. Failure to value Pakistan as a trust. Many believe that the collective national failure lies in treating Pakistan with due respect and stewardship, leading to the misuse of resources and neglect. Extravagant culture. The society's shift towards excessive consumption, waste, and an indifferent attitude toward resource conservation is seen as a primary reason for national challenges. Spiritual and moral reflection. Need for self-change. The article references Quranic verses, emphasizing that Allah will not change the condition of a people unless they change what is within themselves, calling for a moral and spiritual awakening. Lack of national spirit. A lack of national unity and responsibility is highlighted, which has weakened institutions and undermined trust. Leadership and institutional integrity. Desire for honest leadership. There is a call for competent, honest leadership across sectors to foster national pride, respect the taxpayer, and handle resources responsibly. Failures within institutions. Systemic issues in government offices, law enforcement, and other public sectors reflect a lack of accountability and ethical conduct, with public employees failing to fulfill their duties effectively. Ethical corruption in various sectors. Corruption examples. Examples of corruption in politics, law enforcement, business, education, and healthcare reveal a deep-rooted lack of accountability and moral responsibility. Wheat import scandal. Mismanagement of national wheat stocks led to unnecessary imports, incurring losses for the state, an example of negligence and irresponsibility by authorities. The way forward for Pakistan. Forging a national spirit. The writer advocates developing a renewed national spirit and treating Pakistan as a divine trust, emphasizing that the path to transformation requires unity, hard work, and dedication. Long-term commitment to change. Though change cannot happen overnight, there is an urgent need for sustained efforts to strengthen Pakistan's foundations for a brighter future. Crux. While blessed with abundant natural resources, Pakistan's challenges stem from mismanagement, a lack of unity, and an indifferent attitude towards stewardship. The path to progress requires treating Pakistan as a divine trust and building a renewed national spirit that emphasizes responsibility, ethical leadership, and institutional integrity. Key points: decline of American global leadership, post Cold War superpower. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1992, the U.S. held unrivaled global influence for nearly 2 decades. Challenges to U.S. hegemony. Now, countries like China openly contest U.S. led Western dominance, underscoring a crisis in the liberal, rules based international order. 2024 U.S. presidential election, resurgence of Trumpism. Despite Biden's 2020 victory being seen as a return to liberal values, Trump and his ideology remain influential, reflecting liberalism's struggles. Foreign policy and democratic disillusionment. Biden's strong pro-Israel stance has alienated parts of the Democratic base, with some supporters potentially shifting their votes to Trump or abstaining. Economic inequality and discontent. Persistent economic stagnation. Since the 2008 crisis, economic growth has been minimal, with Wall Street and monopolies thriving, while workers see stagnant or declining standards. Far-right rhetoric. Leaders like Trump attribute problems to immigrants and welfare programs, avoiding challenges to powerful corporate interests. Crisis of liberal politics and rising far-right. Global trend in politics. Worldwide, the political landscape has shifted to a battle between centrists, often center-right, and the far-right, with liberalism struggling to deliver transformative solutions. Pakistan's political parallels. In Pakistan, established parties PMLN, PPP maintain the status quo, with PTI seen as an alternative despite Imran Khan's own complex ties to the establishment. Need for left-wing politics. Failure of centrists and far-right. Both in the West and in post-colonial countries like Pakistan, mainstream political options fail to address systemic issues tied to capitalism and imperialism. Reviving progressive movements. Left progressive forces like Sanders and Corbyn in the West once posed alternatives but were defeated. The article advocates regrouping leftist movements to resist far-right populism, military dominance, and oligarchic power. Crux, the erosion of liberal politics in the U.S., mirrored by similar trends globally, has fueled the rise of far-right populism and dissatisfaction with the centrist status quo. To counter this, only a renewed, grassroots left-wing politics can address the structural inequalities intensified by global capitalism and imperialist policies. Key points: severe air quality crisis. Lahore's deteriorating AQI. Lahore's air quality index has soared to hazardous levels 394, highlighting the urgency of addressing air pollution as a public health emergency. Comparisons with Delhi. Similar pollution levels are seen across the border in India, where winter conditions exacerbate the smog by trapping pollutants in the air. Causes of smog. Primary pollutants. Smog in Pakistan and India largely results from vehicular emissions, industrial pollution, and especially the burning of crop residue, a seasonal practice that adds particulate matter to the atmosphere. Stubble burning by farmers. Despite fines and arrests, farmers in both countries continue burning stubble due to a lack of practical alternatives for clearing fields, making this an ongoing contributor to poor air quality. Short-term versus long-term measures. Current mitigations. Measures like altered school timings, fireworks bans, and water sprinkling are temporary fixes that fail to tackle the deeper structural issues behind the pollution. Agricultural policy gaps. Farmers need affordable, practical options to move away from burning crop stubble, a need that both governments' current agricultural policies inadequately address. Lack of joint efforts and sustainable solutions. Climate diplomacy gaps. While discussions of collaboration between Pakistan and India exist, actionable cooperative initiatives, like sharing air quality technology or affordable machinery, remain scarce. Comprehensive approach needed. Both countries must invest in renewable energy, electric vehicles, improved public transport, and modernized industry to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and decrease pollution. The need for a paradigm shift, holistic policy reform, moving beyond punitive measures to support farmers, strengthen public transport, and promote sustainable industry is essential. Without structural changes, Pakistan and India risk perpetuating the smog crisis each winter. Crux. Pakistan and India need transformative policies and collaborative action to address the root causes of winter smog. immediate solutions must evolve into long-term strategies that support sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, and air quality improvements to safeguard public health. Key points. National Cybercrime and Investigation Authority, NCCIA, in limbo. Uncertain future. The government repealed the rules governing the NCCIA, creating confusion about its role, status, or potential dissolution. Purpose and concerns. Established in May to replace the FIA's cybercrime wing, the NCCIA was tasked with addressing digital crimes, online harassment, and social media issues. However, there are concerns it might be used to curb freedom of expression instead of protecting citizens. Need for broader cybercrime focus. Evolving cyber threats. Traditional cybercrimes like identity theft and hacking remain issues, but newer crimes like phishing, ransomware, and online fraud are on the rise, especially as more Pakistanis adopt digital payment and e-commerce platforms. Protection of citizens' digital rights. A cybercrime authority must prioritize protection against real cyber threats rather than targeting social media dissent or criticism of the state. Call for a comprehensive cybercrime authority. Focus on citizens' needs. The government must establish an authority capable of tackling diverse cyber threats, ensuring that it serves to protect citizens' digital interests and cybersecurity, rather than political agendas. Urgency for policy reform. Cybersecurity infrastructure should be robust, well-regulated, and citizen-focused to support Pakistan's digital economy and safeguard against the full range of cybercrimes. Crux. Pakistan needs a functional, citizen-centered cybercrime authority to protect against growing digital threats with a clear, expansive mandate focused on cybersecurity rather than political suppression. Key points. Controversy surrounding Dr. Zakir Naik's tour. Complaints and offense. Dr. Naik's month-long speaking tour in Pakistan sparked criticism, especially from Pakistani Christians, represented by Rev. Azad Marshall of the Church of Pakistan. Rev. Marshall expressed that Dr. Naik's comments were distressing, offensive, and contradicted the inclusive vision set forth by Quaid-e-Azam on August 11, 1947, where he stressed equality for all faiths in Pakistan. Past controversies. Known for controversial statements, Dr. Naik had previously stirred issues in 2007 and faced legal challenges in India in 2016 for alleged money laundering and incitement to extremism, causing him to relocate to Malaysia. Questioning the invitation. Concerns over divisive influence. Dr. Naik's inflammatory speaking style and previous controversies raised questions on why he was invited as a state guest, meeting with prominent figures, including the Prime Minister. Need for respectful theological discourse. While theological discussions are valued, they should be conducted with mutual respect to avoid communal strife. The article suggests that the state should exercise caution when inviting divisive figures, as there are already enough internal issues of sectarian and communal nature. Crux. Dr. Zakir Naik's Pakistan tour drew criticism for remarks deemed offensive by religious minorities, bringing into question the rationale for inviting a polarizing figure. With existing communal challenges, Pakistan needs to ensure theological discourses uphold the nation's ideals of respect and inclusion.